How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a local brewery time. Yeah, I love me some local brewery time in the form of Ross Brewing. This is their Snack Shack, 4.7% Session IPA. This is my first review of these guys. These guys came out probably less than a year ago, I'm assuming, that they were established. I don't know if that actually says it on the can. But I've been trying a bit to review some of their beers, and I saw this on a shelf, not in a fridge, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's relatively fresh, less than a month old. So we'll see how this sucker stands up. So it says, Ross, meet me at the Snack Shack Session IPA. India Pale Ale, Ross Beer Company, 1 pint, 16 fluid ounces. Okay, story time. Very small. We'll try to get through it. It says, sometimes you don't feel like something heavy. Sometimes you want a snack. So you head on over to the Snack Shack. Let's put a pin in that real quick. Everybody, comment below. Did your town not have a Snack Shack? Like, every town I've gone to or grew up in, like, I've moved when I was a kid. I lived in, Jersey Shore down by Point Pleasant, Toms River. Then I lived in the Poconos. I moved, wherever I moved, there's always a local place called the Snack Shack. I'm just curious if you've never had one. Yeah, and so it's like an ice cream place that serves burgers, basically. And head on over to the Snack Shack at the beach or on the boardwalk to go grab something to hold you over. And this beer will do exactly that, and more. My eyes suck. I have to, hold it. I have to do that old people thing like this now. Anyway, any day, anytime, this Session IPA will hit the spot and leave you wanting another. Complex, crisp, and citrusy, and drinks much like a much bigger IPA thanks to our mix of Citra, Motueka, Azaka, and El Dorado hops. You'll be enjoying this one for a long time to come. So come on down to the shore and meet me at the Snack Shack. So there you go. I think that's all we got on this. Let's dive into it. So it is 9 o'clock on a Thursday. That color's not looking too good. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Anyway, it's 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Figured I'd kick back with a couple beers. Just got done doing a little bit of family road trip. And by road trip, I mean it's COVID. So we just basically drove around in a van with the kiddo and the wife and all that kind of stuff. And I came back. I figured I'd do a review. Picked this up at a local spot. What does this look like? It looks like a slightly oxidized hazy pale ale. It could be all like a malt-driven Session IPA. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But when I see something that dark at this low ABV, which is, 4.7? And their SRM on this is 7. Looks just a little bit above that, at least from a distance. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, it's all right. It's a little Snack Shack. Could this be a little sideways? I don't know. Let's just get a nose and see. So, soft citrus in there. Nothing too crazy as far as bittering, as far as maltiness, and as far as oxidation. When I get a beer that is supposed to be SRM 7 and is supposed to be 4.7%, it looks like this, but I don't get a huge amount of oxidation on the nose. What I think is it's oxidizing, but it's not to the point where it's completely gone. And by that I mean I'm probably gonna get a little bit of kind of like what I'm assuming is gonna be like a herbally, more like non-citra kind of new school kind of hop. It'll be a little bit more English style leaning, but that's assumptions. We just have to go off what we actually get. And on this beer, soft maltiness, a little bit of citrus vibes in the background. Done. Nothing too crazy. 4.7%. Not supposed to be a big beer to begin with. Just dive in. Cheers. Ooh, that's cold. Yeah. It kind of went exactly where I thought it would go. Not in an overtly negative way. There's the malt component of this beer comes first. It's slightly nutty. kind of almost like two-row level, which I don't think you would use in like a session IPA, but that's the way it kind of comes off for me. But it's not like super over the top big. It's 4.7. Again, it's not going to be big, but that's almost the leader in the clubhouse as far as the most robust flavor in here. The hops are very, very close behind, but there's a soft little sweetened kind of spritzy lemon lime citrus kind of thing with a bit of orange going on, but it's tied equally with this like old school British Kent Golding fuggly kind of bittering hop to it. You know, you're talking about a new school session IPA. You're talking about usually leaning in a super non-bittering component, kind of citrus forward, fruity forward, not that malt driven kind of thing when you're talking about these new school IPAs. And that's the way it presents itself. So I'm going to kind of guess that's what they were shooting for here. But you get that bittering component in here that comes off way more kind of ESB than it does kind of new school kind of session IPA. Again, I think that is a oxidation thing. I think this beer probably set on the shelf, again, a month old. It should have a stability to hold up even to shelf temperature, I would imagine. That's, you know, even at this low ABV, you know, we're not in summer yet. You know, stores aren't increasingly hot. It was canned a month ago, so I probably didn't even see the shelves of the store for at least a week or two. So it was refrigerated by the brewery and then got to, you know, wherever I bought this, and then they eventually put it on the shelf, and then it sat on the shelf for 2 weeks or so. I think it would hold up, but it does have this kind of oxidation thing that transforms the beer from a session New England style hazy IPA, which is kind of what I assume they're going for based on what they wrote in the description, to a little bit more kind of bittering, a little bit more herbal kind of English vibes on the beer. It's got a nice mouthfeel for it. You know, soft, creamy. It's not like super water nerdy kind of soft mouthfeel, but it's creamy and fluffy, and probably one of the better mouthfeels I've had at a sub 5% kind of session IPA. So it's got that going for it. It's not a bad beer. I got a 4-pack of this. I'll probably share one with Keith or somebody like that, just to give him an idea of local stuff, because he loves local stuff. And I'll probably drink the other two, to see how they drink at varying temperatures and things like that. But it just seems a little bit kind of like old school in its sensibility. At least what I look for in a session IPA. You know, when I look for a new school session IPA, you know, I want something a little bit softer. I definitely like them when they drop the bitterness out of the sub 5%ers. I love bittering my IPAs. I love the you know, I can get down with pine and get down with the green grassiness. I love that scaly, oniony thing. Because sessions are usually something you want to drink, and that huge danky component can kind of get in the way of that. So it's a tasty beer, even in the state it is. But if you labeled this as an ESB, an ESB had a baby with an American session beer, that's kind of where it comes off for me. I don't think the general public is looking for those kind of beers, but I can actually get down with it because I like the flavor of like old school British hoppiness. I like the way beers can actually give you that kind of soft, kind of like, you know, the fuggly, tannic, bittering kind of thing, along with a little bit of fruitiness and a soft, creamy kind of package. I can get down with that. You know what I mean? But I think the beer is quite a bit different than what they originally intended to be. And you can sit there and lay blame on the place that I bought it that didn't refrigerate it. But it's also only a month old, so chances are it only sat on a not overly heated shelf for a week. So take that for what it's worth. So yeah, bummer. Wish it didn't have that dollop of oxidation on it. But I will go back, because that's the other thing. We'll cut to that chase. I'm not going to. Is it one of the better session IPAs I've had as of late? No. I'm not going to sit here and say it is, but I also don't want to sit here and poop on a brewery because you talk about new breweries trying to do fun things. I've seen some of these beers on shelves. They're doing wit beers, they're doing like old school traditional style beers, and good on them for trying that stuff. And I hope they continue to do these kind of like I don't want to say uber traditional because it's not like old English style or German style beers. It's more like BJCP homebrew like focused kind of beers, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff from wet beers to like West Coast IPA to trying different things here and there that a lot of boutique breweries just don't even feel like bothering with, and old school breweries just again don't feel like bothering with. I can get down with that. And it's always nice to have new breweries trying to do good things. So that's the thing. My takeaway from this is that one of the better beers I've had as of late now. But will I buy something from Ross Brewing again? Without a doubt. Without a doubt, man. Because, you never want to judge any beer by the first one you ever have. Especially something a little bit delicate like this that should hold up. But you can understand why it wouldn't over time. And just, especially in this time during COVID and breweries trying to make hay and trying to do their thing in pandemic times, it's last thing you want to do is just not be a fan of people trying to do good things, and that's why I'll go back. So there you go, a little bit of a review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Ross right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.